In order to maximize your training, you need a proper training program, one that minimizes the transfer gap. In this video, which is one of my coach athlete member videos, you're going to see 6 minutes of it, which deals specifically with that subject matter, and also why general preparation periods are not necessarily the best way to kick off your autumn-winter training. Welcome to the latest Coach Athlete Members video. In this one, we're going to take a look at specific planning for the autumn period. Now that's my training blocks 1, 2 and 3. I have 10 in a year. Before we do that, we need to consider the SWOT analysis. Now this was part of the previous video, and this will set up your planning for the autumn period and indeed the whole training year. So you're looking at your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and your threat, and that's going to contextualize your training, your overall training plan for the future training year. Take a look back at the video to consider what you need to implement in your SWOT analysis, and then you move on, as I am doing now, with the actual plan for the autumn training block. Let's take a look at undulating periodization versus linear periodization. Traditional periodization models start with a big base of the pyramid, and they have what's known as GPP, general preparation phases. Now those phases are problematic when it comes to long jump and triple jump and sprint training, at least in the contemporary view of training theory, for a number of reasons. GPP can actually detrain the very qualities that you need to be a better long jumper, for example, by spending a lot of time doing circuit training, tempo training, not going to the pit to do technique work, not doing acceleration work, etc., but generally getting yourself fitter to train. You can take away the qualities that you actually need to perform better. Those sharp end activities such as sprinting, takeoff work, high intensity plyometrics and so forth and so on. Just taking a pause now. If you like this particular type of content, then why not consider becoming a Coach Athlete channel member? Head over to the channel's homepage, click on the membership button and go to the Coach Athlete tab. Now, another negative consideration for general preparation periods and linear periodization in general is the long-term effects of that training. Initially, that training could actually work for a couple of years, but because you've consistently started on the high volume, low intensity base and lost some of the qualities that you really do need for sprinting and jumping over time, this can mean that you're putting the athlete continually on the back foot as each season progresses. So you're not actually building specific condition, but losing it, albeit performances may increase to a degree, but then they may start to stagnate. Think of the effects that this type of training is going to have on the central nervous system. It's going to get used to operating at a lower intensity over a long period of time. And as the years pass, that can take the edge off fast twitch muscle fibers, for example, and rate of muscle discharge, i.e. the ability to move fast, or at least move as fast as would be possible if you utilized a more specific training modality. Speaking of such a more specific training modality, as I've indicated, I use undulating block periodization methods because it encapsulates undulations within progressive potentiating blocks. Enables the jumper sprinter to maintain the various qualities that are actually needed to perform better throughout the whole training year, to build on each one from block to block, albeit with slight undulations. Now, a beauty of undulating periodization is that it bridges the transfer gap more readily than linear periodization, whereby the blocks create bigger gaps between the development of physical qualities. As I've written down on this particular slide here, which talks about gaposis, now that's a term that certain coaches have used to describe the gap between what you need to do and what you're actually doing if you're using the wrong training methodology. We need to consider transfer very carefully. We need to make sure that our training blocks potentiate and progress. We need to ensure that our workouts drill down to what we actually really need to do and not what we think we need to do. Here in this slide, we're looking at transfer bridges, and you can see that we've got drills, plyometrics, acceleration work, downhill, eccentric, overload work, sprinting and jumping. Those are the key activities to jump further, sprint faster. And they're cyclical, as you can see by the use of the arrows, so that they all feed into one another. So all those components are played throughout the training year. And if you do that as your core key activities, then you're not going to stray far from achieving the goal of potentiating, improving, developing performance, and crucially, the central nervous system, fast twitch muscle fiber, rate of force production, improved ground contact times, increased elasticity, increased acceleration, so forth and so on. All those vital qualities that will make sure the jumper jumps further and the sprinter sprints faster. There's no increasing of a gap between those qualities and the end result. We're not doing GPP. We're starting off the training period with the inclusions that we will be doing in the summer season, albeit on a slightly pushed back, delayed basis. But we bring them through blocks 2 and 3 in particular. Block 1 is really only the training phase where there is a slightly bigger gap between the end result, improved jumping for example, and the means you used to get there. Well, I hope this introduction to training planning and my coach athlete member videos was of interest to you. If you have any specific questions on the subject matter of this particular video, and indeed other coach athlete member videos or channel videos, then do leave a comment in the section below or through my other social media. And if you're looking for a really fast training shoe that thinks it's a spike, then check out the Antiques Muscle Runners. They've got a carbon fiber plate which propels you forward, springs you out of the contact and adds to the velocity. They've also got TPU foam specifically placed in order to assist with toe off and encouraging a forefoot sprinting motion. A couple of my group members have been trialing them and they are full of praise. Indeed, Abraham and Daniel are number 2 in the country in their respective age groups, and they have attributed some of their success to the Antiques Muscle Runners. Check out the link in the video description or my video that I made which goes into detail on the Antiques. You can also get a 10% discount from the link in the video description. If you like the Jumps Squad merchandise that I often wear in these videos, then do check out the spring store. You'll see the products available underneath this video, for example, and I've launched a new backpack rucksack with the Jump Squad logo on it, so do check that out.